a lot of people look at directing and they're like, I can do that. And that's good because that's the first step, right? Like that's what happened to me. Like I thought I saw it all and I said, I would be very interested in trying to figure out if I can do that. And when I made my first film, I wasn't sitting there going, I know I can do it. I'm like, I think I can do this, but we'll see. This will show me if I can do this or not, you know? But again, there's like this whole like universe of directing, you know, like everyone, there's like, you cannot learn everything in your lifetime. When you first start off, you don't really realize that there's like so much nuance and so much like ins and outs of directing. And like, even after 10 years, after 20 years, after 30 years, you're still not gonna have a full grasp of it. And you just don't see that. You just think like, can I do it or can't I? And I think that there's definitely a sensibility that people need to have to do directing. I don't want to call it talent because I'm kind of in the camp of there really isn't anything called talent, but just hard work. But I think that some people, like, you know, like if you're gonna have like, if you're a nervous wreck, then try to don't direct, you know, like that's, you don't have the sensibility for that. Or if you don't care about minutia, you know, like I think there's definitely a certain personality type that needs to go into directing. But you also need to kind of be open to understanding that you just don't know everything, and you might never know. Like after a lifetime, just you can learn this stuff for the rest of your life. And as long as you keep learning, you know, I feel like I honestly had probably 2 weeks ago the thought that I'm like, maybe now I think I understand directing. Like I'm just barely like starting to see the corner of it, of like what it can really be. And, you know, I've been doing it for 10 years, but, you know, the more I study it, the more I work at it, I'm just like, instead of feeling like I know more, I just realize that I know less. That's what I'm learning, is I know less, and I'm just trying to get through it and understand it. I went through a phase that I think a lot of people go through, where you look at a film and you're like, oh, that was so good. I could never do that, you know? And it used to bother me when I would watch movies and I would like I could see the director doing things that I would just I know that I would never think of. And it can be very discouraging, because you're kind of like, I'll never be a big a genius as this person, you know? And in reality is that person won't think of the things that you think of either, right? Like I had to learn that, like, when we talk about styles and like, oh, this person has a voice and stuff like that, all that person is doing is what's instinctually true to them, you know? And that's what you're like, you know, like some people are like, I don't feel like I found my voice. Well, it's like, you just haven't done this enough to like find the way you've got the foundation of what you're doing, you know? But in reality, like, don't sweat not having a voice or not having style, because it's like Steven Spielberg talks about how he's like, oh, I feel like I don't have a style. Like I'm a kind of a chameleon. I can kind of do other things, and I'm envious of people with really strong styles. And where the rest of the world's going, there's a very strong Spielberg style, you know? And I think our style is one of the hardest things for us to see ourselves as filmmakers. We just do things, we make decisions, you know. It's like the DP sets up a shot and you're like, this doesn't feel right, you know, like move it back 2 feet. And then it feels right. And it's like, where did that come from? Is it going to change the story? No, but you're feeling like there's something inside you that's like, okay, this is good, this is good, this is good, this isn't working. You pay your attention to it, and that's what your style and your instinct is.